Boom. How cheap do you think Bitcoin will go after the bull market at bear market lows? It's a good question. It depends on how high we go in the bull market. So if we get the next leg up on Bitcoin, that's a good question, Ollie. Also, by the way, this move on Bitcoin was pretty obvious 2020 hindsight. Or this correction on Bitcoin, right? So look at this. So here's Bitcoin on the weekly. Okay, let's take out these trend lines. Hide. Okay, let's put on some Fibonacci's. Some Fibonacci's. Okay, look at this. Let me hide this channel. Okay. So this is pretty obvious 2020 hindsight. So you get your 4-year reaccumulation range on Bitcoin, right? Which, by the way, Ethereum, BNB, Solana, etc., all those were still in their 4-year reaccumulation range. None of them broke out, which is incredible. Shows, again, that likely did not top this cycle. Bitcoin creates this 0.51 range. And so this is where we were getting suppressed through that 8-month range over here. We kept getting suppressed off of this 1 from the top of the range right here. Okay. We finally broke out. Where do we break out and top at? Exactly. Look, the 1.618, 102,000. Okay. So that shows you the fibs work. Bull market fibs work. It shows you great places to take profit, start to de-risk, potential tops, etc. So it calls the top perfectly. This is why we have these fibs drawn out. So if BTC gets its next leg up higher, and we actually, like a true next leg up higher, not just like a double top and then roll over like we did over here, but a true fucking rip up higher, then the 1.618 played, so the 2.618 will play. So we're likely going to move up into here. Okay. So then bear market lows, Ollie, on Bitcoin, I would say it would probably come back into here. So potentially this area, or the next area would be like back down in this reaccumulation range, like right about here near this one, top of the range, right? So, because I mean, if you look at it like this, we can actually take a look. That would be a minus 55%. So yeah, it would in a bear market, if we get this next leg up higher to 155, 156,000, right? We top out at the 2.618, and then we will draw down 55%, likely back into like 64, 65,000 territory, 70,000 territory, because similar to this drawdown, let's see what we're at. Top was here. So yeah, so you got a 76% correction in this bear market. So the reason I would think that there would be a, yeah, exactly. The reason I would think it's less downside here is because it's a larger asset, more adoption. You have nations adopting Bitcoin reserves, right? The demand for it overall is just going to be a lot higher. And as strategy or MicroStrategy, Michael Saylor's company continues to accumulate, other companies continue to accumulate, the supply is going to continue to go down. So it's going to become more scarce. So again, the pullbacks are going to be less. They're going to be smaller. So it's just the law of diminishing returns, right? Same thing where you get diminished returns to the upside, less volatility to the upside as the asset gets larger. You have less volatility, less drawdown to the downside, right? Equal and opposite reaction. So we get a 76% pullback into the bear market here, then I would expect here like 55, 56% pullback, right? Because down here would be about the same as this pullback. So at the very worst case scenario there, but I would not expect that at all. I would expect it up in here for sure. Maximum like 60%, max, but more likely up in here. And the reason that makes sense too, that it wouldn't break this, is because this is an 8-month reaccumulation range right here. This is 8 months worth of price action. This is going to be defended very heavily, right? So if we do a volume profile on this, so from the breakout to like here, yeah, look at that. All the volume is right here. So that makes sense with this level pullback. Look, see? Who could have foreseen? Almost perfect. right? So it'll likely use this volume as a support level. So this will be support because there was all this buying and selling here, especially accumulating because the price went up higher right after this. So people were accumulating here at an average price of about 67,500. These entries are going to be defended. Absolutely 100%. So it's going to be tough to break down all this volume, break down past all this volume once it gets down here. So you're going to likely see, something, cascade, cascade down into here, bounce, kind of go sideways for a little bit right here. And then that would be the next bull market, right? So I would expect like 67, 68,000. Okay. Good question though, Ollie. But yeah, those fibs will play. So if we get the next leg up higher, I'm seeing Bitcoin hit the 2.618 because the fibs played before already. All right. Good, gentlemen.